On this episode of Eat, Sleep, Drive, we find out if less really is more with this small British sports car. So today, I have a hat on, and me having a hat on, I guess, isn't that special, but the reason why I have a hat on is special, and that's because I'm in the Lotus Elise, and the roof is off. When I did the S2000 review, I had the top on, and I was eaten alive by the YouTube commenters because I did not get the full experience according to them. Well, here's the thing, YouTube commenters, the roof is off today, and I'm getting the full experience. This is a 2005 Lotus Elise, and the thing that we should probably start with is the way it looks. This car gets a lot of attention, and both good and bad. I will say I've owned many cars over the years, I've driven many cars, and this thing turns heads more than any car that I've ever driven. Like I said, it goes both ways though. When I originally bought this car, and yes, this is my personal car, it was down in Florida, and we went to the beach while we were there. And while we were at the beach, I had just parked and I was putting stuff away in the car, and see, there you go. You're getting thumbs up. That seems staged, but no, somebody just drove by and gave me a thumbs up. Anyways, on the beach, and somebody's driving by on the beach, and it's some younger kid, and he goes, "Look what daddy's money can buy." Right, buddy, right. Despite the fact that I have saved up and purchased this car, people want to hate. But in the same token, I can tell you that on that road trip back from Florida, which was 1,000 miles, at almost every single gas station, someone came up and had something to say about the car. It was mostly positive. A lot of people were interested in the fact that it has, you know, just very unique styling, and they're like, what is that? Is that a Ferrari? No, it's a Lotus. So there's that. But, you know, people, it just draws a lot of attention, and it's not why I bought this car by any means. I bought this car because it's an absolute blast to drive, and I hope that comes across in this video, but you have to understand that people will look at you differently in this car than most other cars. What? This is a very sport bike sounding engine, like just those, like when you rev match downshift and then you get on it, it's just it wants to rev very much, which is very sport bike-esque, and it just has a racy tone to it that you get with sport bikes, and I love that about this car. Admittedly, this car has a stage 2, that's what they call it, Lotus exhaust, so it's certainly louder than a standard one, but for a 1.8 liter, it sounds pretty damn good. It turns out that this engine, while it was originally in the Celica GTS, was actually tuned by Yamaha before they put it in the Lotus Elise. So go figure, a sport bike company makes an engine that sounds like a sport bike. Now it's mated to the Celica GTS gearbox, and I think they changed the ratios a little bit, but the gearbox is great, and the shifter, especially, despite it being a cable shifter, is actually really nice. I like the fact that, I don't know if you could see this, but how close the shifter is to the steering wheel. I mean, my hand comes off the steering wheel and it's basically on the shifter. So as far as ergonomics go, I'm very low in the car. The shifter to steering wheel ratio is quite good. I mean, you know, it's a driver's car. It's very driver focused, and you would expect that from a driver's car, but it certainly helps the experience that you get in this Lotus. How about handling? How can you talk about a Lotus Elise without the handling? Well, that is no doubt the best part about this car. I mean, this steering is super direct. There's no power steering. You get a completely unadulterated steering feel from this wheel. It's super direct, it's nice and quick, so it turns in really quick. And I mean, this chassis is beautiful. It's mid-engine, so you get that inherent balance that comes with the mid-engine. It actually has a little more body roll than I expected, but it's not by any means in a bad way. And what I like about this, and I alluded to the S2000 earlier, is the fact that it's more progressive than the S2000. The S2000 is a little bit twitchy, and when it breaks away from you, it does it abruptly. The Lotus Elise does not. It is actually incredibly neutral and balanced, and you can find the limit without getting way over your head. And I think that's a huge compliment to a sports car like this. What's funny about this car is the fact that you can get them for a pretty reasonable price, and people think you have a lot of money. Now, that's not why I bought this car. I bought this car for this reason. It's a riot, man. This car in a lot of ways is very similar to an S2000. I mean, it's high revving, it's lighter weight, it's small. But the thing about this versus the S2000 is that this is just a little bit better in every way, if I'm honest. I mean, it's a little bit faster, and you know, it doesn't make any more power than the S2000. In fact, it makes less, but it's so much lighter. This car is only 2,000 pounds or thereabouts. And for a modern car to be that light is honestly pretty awesome. And you can tell just in the whole driving experience, the car feels so light and nimble, and it accelerates briskly, even with a 1.8 liter Toyota engine. It's a brilliant combination. I mean, a Toyota drivetrain, what a good idea. It's just gonna work. And, you know, it's sporty. You know, a Celica GTS engine is no slouch, and it friggin' sounds good, that's for sure. But, I mean, the steering in this car is better than the S2000. The handling is better, I talked about, it's more progressive. And it's just an overall better car. And I can tell you one thing's for sure, the S2000 is a classic, timeless look. It's a pretty car, but it's not as unique as the Lotus. It doesn't turn heads or is nearly as much of a conversation piece as the Lotus is. Now, there are some tradebacks with the Lotus. Now, it is obviously a very small car, and additionally, getting in and out of it is a bit of a shit show, if I'm honest, especially with the roof on. So the first thing I would do if you buy one is just throw the roof away. Like, just don't even use it. It's a better experience with the roof off, and it's way easier to get in and out of. You pretty much have to like curl up like a pretzel to get in and out of this car. And I'm not just saying like it's uncomfortable to get in and out of. I mean, let's be honest, like you roll up in a Lotus Elise, people are like, oh, that's pretty cool, like sweet, awesome. And then you get out and you just look like an idiot. It's a price you pay, you know, it's a price you pay for a small car. I mean, it also doesn't really have many luxuries at all. This car has the touring package, top of the line touring package, and it comes with power windows. How about that, huh? Power windows. Okay, yep, it comes with also leather seats, which are actually kind of nice, and the door cards, I mean, those are nice. But, oh wait, the one thing I forgot, it comes with, the touring package comes with sound deadening. Wow, how special is that? But somebody had to build this. Somebody had to say, we're not gonna compromise. And it's totally worth it. Summing this car up is quite difficult. I mean, obviously, admittedly, this can't be your only car. Like, it's like not practical to the extreme. I mean, a BRZ is not practical, but this is like really not practical. You can't fit anything in here. But if you can afford to have a second car, I mean, it is totally worth it, man. Like, this thing just hits all the right boxes to the point where, like, there's really no other car that can do this. And what I mean by that is you can buy a Ferrari or something very expensive that's special, that gets a lot of attention, but you're gonna pay crazy sums of money. This is not that expensive of a car at the end of the day, and it gets just as much, if not more, attention than something like a Ferrari, and certainly more than a Porsche. A Porsche is just another Porsche. A Lotus is something totally different, something that most people haven't even seen. So you get the uniqueness that comes with kind of an exotic car at a small price. You can find these kind of cheap, and they hold their value like crazy. And it's a blast to drive. It's plenty fast. It hits that perfect sweet spot of being fast enough to have fun, but not too fast to where you're just gonna like instantly lose your license. So it's right in the middle, fast enough, not too fast. It handles beautifully. What more is there to say? I mean, it's a fantastic car. If you haven't driven one, go drive one. If you can find one and you can pull it off, go buy it. It's that simple. Guys, thanks for watching. As always, I really appreciate it. If you liked the video, please like and subscribe. There will be more from this car, and I also have a bunch of other car reviews lined up for you guys this summer, so stay tuned for more.